Hey guys, welcome to White Trash Witches, the show where we teach you how to be witchy on a budget. Sadly, I am flying solo again this episode. Flying like on a broomstick. That joke was kind of a stretch, but it's fine. It's fine. But yes, my dear co-host and co-writer Boo is not here right now. She, again, is busy with so many things because she's doing so many wonderful things and she is a part of so many wonderful projects. She'll be back soon, but in the meantime, just keep sending her all those awesome vibes because she's doing awesome things and she's an awesome person. So yeah, send all your good witchy vibes to my Boo. Gotta love my Boo. So anybody that follows me on Instagram knows that I have recently taken a witchy pilgrimage to Salem, Massachusetts. And I just want to talk a little bit about how amazing that experience was and how I think everyone, witch and non-witch alike, should definitely go to Salem, Massachusetts because, oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful city. It's beautiful. The people there are so kind and sweet. Honestly, like the people of Massachusetts are so nice. They kind of put Southern hospitality to shame. Seriously, like Southerners, we got to step up our game a little bit because Massachusetts is coming for us. When I got onto the plane, I didn't know this. Delta, you can like just watch whatever you want pretty much on a Delta flight now. There's like no in-flight movie like we all have to watch. I didn't know this. I haven't flown in so long. You just have like a little TV screen in front of you and you can watch whatever you want. I mean, within reason, like if they have it. But guess what movie they had? They had Hocus Pocus. So naturally, I had to watch it. Now, I have seen Hocus Pocus a million times and I can quote the movie forwards and backwards. I have the entire thing memorized. So I was kind of like watching it, listening to it, while also reading a book called Basic Witches. I'll put a picture right here because right now the book is like packed away. And I did all of that while wearing my We Are the Daughters of the Witches You Couldn't Burn shirt that my mom gave me. So basically, I'm starting off my Salem trip perfectly. And the first thing I noticed when I get to Massachusetts is that it is really cold. I am a Georgia girl. I am not used to it being that cold this early in the year. Like it's still 60 degrees in Georgia in October, and that's North Georgia. So yeah, it was like 40 degrees. Oh my gosh, it was so cold. I did not pack heavy enough clothing. So if you go to Massachusetts in October, just bundle up, pack, layer up, wear layers. That's my tip to you. Now, before I talk about all the wonderful things about Salem, and there are a plethora of them, I'm going to just talk about a couple things that I didn't quite enjoy about my trip, but these are like minor things. After driving in Boston and Salem traffic, and after driving on Boston and Salem and Peabody roads, or Peabody, forgive me, I was saying that wrong. Apparently, I thought I was staying in Peabody, Massachusetts. Turns out I'm staying in Peabody. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting ways to say names up in Massachusetts. But after driving on those roads and experiencing that traffic, I am never complaining about driving in Atlanta again, ever. Seriously, Boston was great, Salem was great, but those roads, man, oh God, those are not easy roads to drive on. If you go up to Salem or Boston, I just recommend like get a Lyft or a ride share. I mean, all in all, it'll cost you about the same money as a rental car. So that's probably the best bet. Like honestly, it's really hard to drive. The scenery is beautiful. Like the scenic routes are gorgeous because the houses are so pretty and the leaves were all so the pretty autumny leafy colors. That was a weird way of saying that, but it was a beautiful, beautiful drive. Just a very difficult one. But that's like really the only thing that I had an issue with. Because the first thing I ate in Salem, Massachusetts, was a delicious banana and Nutella crepe. I have not had a crepe in so long. I haven't had crepe since I ate them when I was like a kid with my grandma. It was delicious. So that was like the first thing I ate. So that meal was divine and delicious. And then, being Betty Bookworm, I found a wonderful little bookshop. The second I stepped into the bookshop, I heard a Stevie Nicks song, and there were like stuffed animal foxes everywhere, my favorite animal. So I was like, oh my God, is Salem trying to seduce me? There's this awesome bookstore that plays Stevie Nicks that has foxes everywhere. I'm like, I think Salem like wants me to like live there forever. But so that was awesome, the crepe and the bookstores. I also, I only actually did really one Salem Witch Trial History Museum. And I believe it's actually called the Salem Witch History Museum or the Salem Witch Trial History Museum. I will look that up and I will get you a better name, and I'll put it in this video. I'm just a little excited, so I kind of forgot. It was only $10. Relatively cheaper than like some of the tours that you would take there, even though a lot of the tours aren't that expensive at all. But it was $10, and that was for an adult ticket. And it was, some people might view it as a bit, I don't want to say tourist trappy, because on the surface, it looks kind of tourist trappy. Like when you walk in, the bookstore is kind of like a magic shop. You know, they have candles and stones and pentacles everywhere and magic books and things. So it appears a little tourist trappy. But when you take the tour, first you're in kind of like a mock, they've designed like the museum. None of it is like, you know, authentic to what they would have had way back when in 1692, because honestly, a lot of stuff that existed at the Salem witch trials at that time, it all got burned in a fire. Funny enough, not funny enough at all. That's really sad. But they've kind of mocked up the museum, you know, to kind of, each exhibit is like a scene that was kind of taken out of, you know, the witch trials. And we start off kind of like in a town hall type setting. And then our tour guide introduces herself and she takes us on this tour. The exhibits are primarily made up of like mannequins, and there's recordings everywhere. So part of it is the tour guide telling us stories, and then part of us is listening to recordings while staring at the mannequins. But I gotta say, I learned a lot of stuff that I did not know on that tour. So if you want something, you know, affordable and, you know, really informative, I say go on that tour. The tour guide was really nice, and the place was really nice. And I really enjoyed it. I learned something. I'm a theater kid, so I'm kind of a student of, you know, Arthur Miller and The Crucible. So much of that stuff in that play didn't happen. First of all, Abigail Williams and John Proctor never had an affair. Abigail Williams was 11 years old at the time. So yeah, a lot of that stuff didn't happen in The Crucible. It was very allegorical and very representative of what was going on in Arthur Miller's own life. I learned that. I learned something new. Before I start talking about the tours and the magic shops, because those were some of my favorite parts of the tour, they have Hocus Pocus tours up there. You can like go visit, you know, where the movie Hocus Pocus, all the locations where it was filmed. It was all sold out. I got in too late and I could not get a ticket for any of the days that I was there. So I looked up the addresses of all the filming locations and I went on my own little tour. I saw Max and Danny's house, which was so cute, and it's like by the ocean. It's so beautiful and idyllic. All the buildings were a lot smaller than I thought they'd be, but it was gorgeous. Then I saw Allison's house, also known as the Ropes Mansion, which was actually, you know, it belonged to, you know, one of the richest men in Salem, I believe, at the time of the witch trials, or like about 100 years after the witch trials. So yeah, Allison lived in a giant, you know, mansion, apparently. And I also got to see Town Hall, where Bette Midler sang "I Put a Spell on You." I went to Old Burial Hill Cemetery in Marblehead, Massachusetts, or as the locals say, Marblehead, Massachusetts. We went to Old Burial Hill Cemetery, or I went to Old Burial Hill Cemetery. It was just me, a solo pilgrimage. And that is where, That is where Max meets Jay and Ernie, oh, forgive me, Ice, for the first time. And that place, I'm going to get a little witchy on you right here. When I stepped foot on Old Burial Hill Cemetery, first you got to get through there. You got to walk by a pond called Red's Pond. It is named after one of the victims of the trials, Wilmot Red. She was, I think, the only victim from Marblehead. And it's the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. I cannot get that image out of my head. It was so beautiful. And you walk past the pond and you walk up to the cemetery and you almost don't hear like any sound. It's very, you hear the wind, but it's just very quiet and calm. And you just get a sense of calm and peacefulness, but still like this underlying sadness. No anger. Like you'd think that there'd be more anger, but I didn't, I didn't sense any anger at all. Just a little underlying sadness, probably from, the people that were living at the time. But yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. And right next to Old Burial Hill Cemetery is a place called Fountain Park. And the view from Fountain Park, you see the ocean, and it's just, oh my gosh, it was so cold, but I felt like the wind was like hugging me up there. I was speechless. I could not contain just how calm and at peace I felt there. Like, and you guys have seen my other videos, you know that I've been struggling a lot with depression. And the fact that I felt just this type of spiritual peace for the first time in a really long time, in several months, it was so meaningful. So if you're kind of like, if you have a lot weighing on your spirit and your soul, and you're able to get up to Old Burial Hill Cemetery or Red's Pond or Fountain Park, please make the trip. Because, oh my God, it was just, I'm still overwhelmed by how much peace I felt there.